Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Nashtaprayeshu Treshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on nectar of instruction, today we are starting new verse, verse number 5. So far we studied what? Vachovegam, how to control the 6 urges, then 6 things that can destroy a bhakti, then Usaha Nishadharya that can improve our bhakti, and verse 4 was Utsaha Nishadharya.
Loving exchanges.
Dadati Pratigranati, yes. Loving exchanges, 6 types of loving exchanges between devotees. Now, between devotees, first, then one has to understand what are different kinds of devotees and how to deal with them. So, shloka is Krishneti yasya giritam mansadriyeta dekshasti cheta pranatibhishcha bhajantam isham Shushrusaya bhajan vigyamananya manya nindadishunya hridamipsita sangalabdhya. So Rupa Goswami says, one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation or diksha and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. See, even among devotees, one should be able to differentiate how am I going to deal with others, everybody else. It's not that we are supposed to associate with very advanced devotee and we just associate with some Kanishta Adhikari and neophytes and we think we have made progress. Then that won't be sufficient. So Prabhupada says, in order to intelligently apply the 6-fold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. So 6-fold loving reciprocations definitely have to be there. But with somebody who's just fairly new in bhakti, we're not going to do guyamakhyati prichati, ask confidentially or reveal confidentially. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way, according to their particular status. In this verse, he tells us how to deal with 3 types of devotees, the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. Although they all are Adhikaris, they all are devotees, no doubt about it. Adhikaris means one who has adhikar or right to perform devotional service. So the Kanishta Adhikari is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. One should respect such a person within his mind as a Kanishta Vaishnava. So Krishneti yasya giritam manasadhriyeta. One should respect him within mind. Because he has taken initiation and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. One of the issues with Kanishta Adhikari is he doesn't know how to behave properly with other devotees. So one should still respect. Respect should be for everybody, not that we start finding faults with Even in the Kanishta Adhikari, cannot find faults. Everybody is acting or working or making progress in their own way, which is fine. A Madhyam Adhikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So see, in the shloka, the first line says, Krishneti yasya giritam manasa driyeva. So Krishneti yasya girit, one is chanting the holy names of Krishna, one should offer with manasa driyeta, one should offer, honor him in mind. Then second, dikshasti cheta pranitibhishcha bhajantamesha. Means one who has taken diksha and who is engaged in the loving service of the deity, one should dikshasti cheta pranitibhishcha pranitibhi, offer obeisances or offer respects to that devotee. The Madhyam Adhikari should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. So he's not Kanishta, but he's not Uttam yet either. The Uttam Adhikari or highest devotee is one who's very advanced in devotional service. And Uttam Adhikari is not interested in blaspheming others. Nindadi shunyam. That's a very, very distinctive characteristic of an Uttam Adhikari. Not interested in blaspheming others. His heart is completely clean and he has attained the realized state of unalloyed Krishna consciousness. So that is an Uttam Adhikari. According to Srila Rupa Goswami, the association and service of such a Mahabharata to perfect Vaishnava are most desirable. So heart is completely clean of what? Of any kinds of material desires, any kind of seeking respect of others, any kind of blaspheming others. Heart is completely clean. In fact, that's what Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, Saralta hi Vaishnavata. One is simple, very simple at heart. Not cunning, not shrewd, or doing all sorts of dealings. No. His heart is completely clean. And he has attained the realized state of unalloyed Krishna consciousness. Realized state, not theoretical. So such a devotee, if we go near, sit next to him, talk to him, even for a few moments, it leaves a permanent mark in our heart for respect and for love for Krishna. It motivates us to perform devotional service. And that kind of Vaishnava association and service of such a Mahabharata to perfect Vaishnava are most desirable. So Prabhupada further writes, one should not remain a Kanishta Adhikari. One is situated on the lowest platform of devotional service and is interested only in worshipping the deity in the temple. But it's not that Madhyam and Uttam Adhikari, they don't worship the deity. They also worship the deity, but they know how to deal with how to behave properly with the devotees, with different categories of devotees. Such a devotee is described in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we did go through this, qualities of different kinds of, or different levels of devotees. So Srimad Bhagavatam talks about all three. So let's see what it talks about. Kanishta Adhikari. Archayam eva hare pujam ya shuddhayate hete. Na tad bhakteshu chanyeshu sabhakta prakrita smrita. A person who is very faithfully engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple, but who does not know how to behave toward devotees or people in general, is called a prakrita bhakta or Kanishta Adhikari. So he knows he very faithfully engaged in the service of the deities, but he doesn't know how to behave, doesn't know or doesn't behave properly towards devotees or people in general. So very, very important. It's not that just by worshipping the deities will make progress. No. So see, knowledge and our behavior towards other devotees. This is how Rupa Goswami is saying. We will make distinction. If it's going to be a Kanishta Adhikari or Madhyam Uttam Adhikari. So neophyte devotee, he just doesn't know and doesn't behave properly, and many times he commits offenses towards Vaishnavas. And then the problem starts. So at least from Prabhupada says, we have to go from Kanishta to Madhyam level. At least come to the Madhyam level. So Madhyam level, what happens? One therefore has to raise himself from the position of Kanishta Adhikari to the platform of Madhyam Adhikari. The Madhyam Adhikari is described in Srimad Bhagavatam in this way. Ishvare tadadineshu balisheshu dvishatsu prem maitri kripa peksha ya karoti sa madhyama. The Madhyam Adhikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes friends with the Lord's devotees, is merciful to the ignorant and avoids those who are envious by nature. So Madhyam Adhikari, what does he do? So he knows how to behave with others, but he makes distinctions. What does he do? Ishvare tad adineshu, he has relationship of prema. No, Ishvara. Ishvara, he has relationship of prema. With Ishwar, prema, love for Supreme Personality. And tad adhineshu. Adhineshu means the devotees. So tad adhineshu, maitri. Friendship, he makes friends with the Lord's devotees. Then balisheshu, he does kripa. Balisheshu means those who are innocent. Innocent about the Lord, innocent about devotional service, they want to learn more, so he does kripa. He is very merciful person. But Dvishatsu means those who are envious of Krishna, envious of Krishna's devotees, envious of devotional service. What does he do? Upeksha. He avoids them, who are envious by nature. A Madhyam Adhikari is a devotee who can preach. See, Kanishta cannot preach because he doesn't know how to behave. And an Uttam Adhikari, actually it is mentioned that he thinks everybody else is better than him. So he cannot preach. Preach means engaging everybody in service of Krishna so that they can get purified, they can become eligible to go back to Godhead by engaging in devotion service. And for that purpose, sometimes Madhyam Adhikari has to use very heavy language. Like Prabhupada. Although Prabhupada is a Mahabharata, pure devotee of the Lord. But for preaching purposes, he kept that characteristic of the pure devotee away. He would be very heavy. A Mahabharata, that's why many times devotees from India, his Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees, they would tell me, how can you call everybody fool and rascal? You're such a Mahabharata. The Mahabharatas, they just don't see this. They see everybody else is more qualified. They're more engaged lovingly in the service of Krishna than themselves. But Prabhupada would call them, chastise them heavily. At the same time, he loved them, he loved his disciples, he loved his followers, and motivated them, guided them, inspired them. But he would also give heavy lectures. But this was for their benefit. This is how he could engage them properly in the service. So this is the level of Madhyam Adhikari. Prabhupada further says, this is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has advised us how to treat various devotees. We can see from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrit Sahajas generally chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, yet they are attached to women, money, and intoxication. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. So, Prakrit Sahajyas. So, what is this Prakrit Sahajyas? So, there, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was preaching, actually, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left and after 6 Goswamis left, they did leave some books, but their followers, they were good followers, but like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Narottam Das Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. But slowly, the movement, Gaudiya Vaishnavism movement and then the preaching of Gaudiya Vaishnavism had gone down. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur came, although he was a high court judge in British government, India, and Jagannath Puri, and then Calcutta, and then Mayapur, he had tough time finding Chaitanya Charitamrita, the original bona fide, authentic copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. It took him 2 years to get a copy of that. And when he read that, he understood there were people in the name of bhakti, in the name of following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were doing all sorts of things. So he called them Up Sampradaya, 13 kinds of Up Sampradaya. Up means they don't follow, but they look like it's a Sampradaya. They look like it's a Gaudiya Vaishnava. They don't follow properly. So Prakrit Sahajya, that name Prabhupada uses here, that is one kind of Up Sampradaya. So Sahajya means sentimentalists, emotionals. So, as Prabhupada said, they are attached to women, money, and intoxication, although they chant Hare Krishna. So, Prakrit Sahajas, they would do wonderful kirtan in Bengal, this area, and they would dance very nicely in the kirtan. And but they are addicted to intoxication and smoking also. So after kirtan, they would say, "Okay, give me a bidi, because I have lost all the energy." And they would just very emotionally, sentimentally, they would even shed tears as if they are in ecstasy. But if somebody is in ecstasy, he won't smoke or drink. So this part was missing. What is a real, who's a real Gaudiya Vaishnava? And this Bhaktivinoda Thakur established after a long struggle. And he established, and he wrote books, he wrote tons and tons of books, even at that time. And then his son, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then prayed to Lord Jagannath that please send me a Senapati who can preach. Send me a ray of Vishnu who can preach. Then his son, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came, and he preached very boldly all over India. And he established 64 Gaudiya Mathas all over India, establishing the teachings of 6 Goswamis properly. He was very heavy. He was called Singha Guru. And although he had many disciples, very qualified disciples, but Srila Prabhupada was his disciple, and he was so qualified that he came to West and established ISKCON all over the world. keeping intact the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, philosophy of the six Goswamis, and driving away all this sentimentalists, Apsampradaya philosophy. Still, those Apsampradayas are there, but now people understand what's real Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So those kind of Vaishnavas, they still can be called Vaishnava because they're chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So we can just offer mental respects, and that's it, not to associate with them. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but the association should be avoided. So even when we go to Navadvip, Mayapur area, or Radhakund also, Vrindavan also, because Gaudiya Vaishnavas are everywhere, and so are Prakrit Sahajas or other followers of not proper followers, they are everywhere. That's why Rupa Goswami, this book is Upadeshamrita, Upadesh. We have to learn how to deal with everybody properly. Even within ISKCON, we'll find different kinds of devotees. Now, if we don't deal with them properly, we might get distracted. We might we might follow something that we are not supposed to. So association, definitely not. And association, we studied that by by associating or by in company of that person, we get influenced. That is association. So those who are innocent, but simply carried away by bad association, should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instructions from pure devotees. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. And are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances, not just in the mind, and not just making a show of offering obeisances. Why do we offer obeisances anyway? Well, first to respect a devotee like this, and then we're also offering obeisances to the Lord in the heart of such a devotee, because he has realized the Lord. And if we don't offer obeisances, there's also a problem. That can be considered a Vaishnava aparadh, and whatever bhakti we have done, part of it goes to that Vaishnava if we don't offer obeisances. But there are some other rules for offering obeisances also. And one major rule is not to offer obeisances to anybody in front of the deities, because that's an offense against the deities then. So that all is covered in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So, but if we cannot offer like Dandvat Pranam, at least we can offer, fold our hands and offer respects to senior devotees or Madhyamadhikaris or Uttamadhikaris also. In this Krishna consciousness movement, a chance is given to everyone without discrimination of caste, creed, or color. Everyone is invited to join this movement, sit with us, take prasad, and hear about Krishna. So that Prabhupada discussed wonderfully in Dadati Pratikarnati Kuyam Akhyati, Bhunte Bhojate Chaivan. So, so everybody is invited, Prabhupada says. There's no discrimination based on caste, creed, color, or whichever country one is from, because that's all bodily designations. And Krishna consciousness or bhakti is beyond bodily designations. This is a spiritual organization. When we see that someone is actually interested in Krishna consciousness and wants to be initiated, we accept him as a disciple for the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. When a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in devotional service by the orders of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava, and obeisances should be offered unto him. So this is actually good for us when we offer obeisances, the respects. It just brings in some humility in our heart. And also we're recognizing that so and so person now he has accepted Vaishnava vows, so he should be respected. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all the regulative principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. See, Prabhupada, in the same paragraph, he gives characteristics of different types of Vaishnavas. So these are the characteristics of an Uttam Adhikari. Out of many such Vaishnavas who are initiated and engaged in devotion service by the order of spiritual master, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all the regulative principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. So these are the qualities of an Uttam Adhikari. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as an Uttam Adhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought. The process by which a devotee becomes attached to Krishna is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita as follows. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpa. Sai kale Krishna tare kare atma samarpa. At the time of initiation, when a devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as he himself. But again, Diksha, this is about Vaishnava Diksha, Vaishnava initiation. First of all, it should be taken from a bona fide spiritual master, definitely, otherwise there will be a problem. And it is said, again, let's read it again. At the time of initiation, when a devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as he himself, means he becomes spiritual for Krishna because he has taken Diksha. So Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpa. Many times this atma samarpana, surrender, full surrender, remains only for Diksha kal. And afterwards he thinks, I'm an advanced devotee now. I got this spiritual name and I can do whatever I want. But actually speaking, Diksha Kal, initiation, it's actually beginning. That's why it's called, in English, it's called initiation. It's a beginning. It's not the end. It's just a beginning. It's just like in India, we have these engineering entrance exams for engineering colleges, so entrance exam for medical. So a devotee or a person, a student, he studies very hard to get entrance in, say, medical college. So whatever he is performing before entrance, he's studying hard, he's working hard, but entrance can be called an initiation. So before that entrance exam or clearing the entrance exam, he's preparing for it. But once the initiation or entrance or admission is confirmed, he has not become a doctor yet. He just got admitted in a medical college. Now further studies and higher studies and this semester, that semester, whatever is called. For engineer it's called semester. For them, I think it's called trimester or something like that. And then he has to clear those exams and more exams and more exams and practicals, this study, that study. And then he finally gets the degree, MBBS. But still, he's not a doctor. He has to go for internship, training. So medical degree he can get in what, 4 or 5 years. But training. So initiation is getting entrance into this spiritualization, spiritual university. Then the further training has to be there. Exams will be there. Unit tests, final tests, exams, plenty of exams. Means plenty of hurdles will be there, tests will be there. And then when we become eligible, completely eligible, that we have passed all the exam, that we can be called, really called a devotee, then comes a training part. Now, where is the training? When we leave this body, if we are completely eligible, purified, then we go to the universe, we are sent to the universe where Krishna's pastimes are going on. Then in the association or under the training of those associates of Krishna, if we have Vatsalya Bhav, then on the gopis, motherly gopis or Mother Yashoda or Nanda Baba, we get further training with Krishna. And then we can practice as a devotee. After that training is complete, then we go back to the spiritual world and then practice as whatever we are in our original soul. So it takes time. So Diksha is an initiation, just a beginning. Lots of tests will be there. But Krishna, he really regards it very nicely and he accepts him to be as good as Krishna himself. So Diksha or spiritual initiation is explained in Bhakti Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami, yes. Divya Jnanam yato dadyat kuryat papasya sanshayam tasma diksheti sa prokta deshikas tattva kovida. By Diksha, one gradually becomes disinterested in material enjoyment and gradually becomes interested in spiritual life. So Divya Jnanam yato dadyat, that is Diksha. He gets interested in spiritual life. So just like medical exam or entrance exam, it's not like after going into medical college, we'll find out about biology or whatever subjects are there. No, even for the entrance, preparing for the entrance, we do study plenty of stuff that makes us eligible for admission in medical college. So here also, it's not like before Diksha he has nothing to do, he can loiter around and do whatever, and he gets Diksha, then just like in some other cults or some other so-called gurus do, they have pandal and 10,000 people are sitting there and Guruji asks his so-called followers, okay, you go behind and sprinkle water on everybody, make sure everybody is sprinkled and with water, and then this is our Diksha. And regarding mantra, Guruji says, okay, you chant whatever mantra you like. If you like Om Namah Shivaya, you chant Om Namah Shivaya. If you like mantra of Devi or Krishna or Ram or whatever you like, it's okay. That's not Diksha. That's just bogus program. So Diksha is, and Jiva Goswami is clearly right. One gradually becomes disinterested in material enjoyment and gradually becomes interested in spiritual life. That is the process of Diksha. Prabhupada says, we have seen many practical examples of this, especially in Europe and America. Many students who come to us from rich and respectable families quickly lose all interest in material enjoyment and become very eager to enter into spiritual life. Although they come from very wealthy families, many of them accept living conditions that are not very comfortable. And devotees have done that. So many examples are there. When Prabhupada was here, Prabhupada once went from, I believe, from Bombay to Amritsar. And the train goes via Delhi, going to Amritsar. So on the way back from Amritsar, I'm forgetting the name of those devotees. I think it was Gurudas Prabhu, but I'm not 100% sure. So train was coming back from Amritsar to Bombay, and when it stopped at Delhi, Prabhupada asked, there were two devotees. He asked them, okay, you get down here and start the movement in Delhi. There was nothing in Delhi. I mean, no ISKCON presence. You just get down, no money, just one contact, and that's it. You start the movement. And Prabhupada's ordered, they said, okay. So they just got down in Delhi somehow. They went to Chippiwada temple where Prabhupada had stayed before going to America. They went there, somehow requested, and they were allowed to stay there. And from there, they would go every day, meeting different people, trying to tell them about ISKCON, Prabhupada's teachings, and get some donations, and trying to figure out. And the devotee told us in Delhi, he was once there, and he said, we hardly had any money to even eat properly. And Chippiwada temple was very bad shape that time. And we would just somehow sleep on the that patra outside the shops. We just sleep at night over there and then come back to the temple in the morning to take bath. And Yamuna Mataji, if you don't know Yamuna Mataji, we hear her voice every morning, Govinda Madhi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami, and that comes out, Diti Darshan time. So she was also there. And so, I mean, later she joined Gurudas, she was wife of Gurudas Prabhu. And they were not used to living like in these conditions. And she was helping in every way possible how to preach. And she developed this, what is called Jew, I don't know what it's called in English, in her hair. So she tried everything, every way possible. The Jews won't go away. So she asked Prabhupada, what to do? Prabhupada, either Prabhupada or somebody told her to wash her hair with the kerosene oil. And she did that. It's still the problem was there. And then somebody told her, just cut your hair away. That's it. Cut them off. Get a bob cut. And she did that for service of Prabhupada. And she never grew her hair back. Even you see in the pictures, last days, she always had small hair, short hair, and really short hair, just like men. So this is how they preached. This is how they lived. This is what Prabhupada is saying, that they come from very wealthy families, and many of them accept living conditions that are not very comfortable. Indeed, for Krishna's sake, they are prepared to accept any living conditions as long as they can live in the temple and associate with the Vaishnavas. When one becomes so disinterested in material enjoyment, he becomes fit for initiation by the spiritual master. And it's not like after initiation only one becomes disinterested, he just becomes disinterested from the very beginning. Even in Bombay, Juhu Temple, Prabhupada had to go through a lot to first to get that land and to build that temple. He was getting cheated by the person who was selling him the land, and there was a court case. And even after court case, Prabhupada won, and Prabhupada had built a couple of rooms for the deities, but that the landowner who cheated and tried to sell, he died, and his wife carried on with this fighting. And two rooms were built for Radharas Bihariji. One room Radharas Bihariji, and the other room was, I guess, the kitchen. And Tamal Krish Maharaj, Giriraj Maharaj, they were from very, very wealthy family in America. And they were living there. They were basically living in jungle outside those rooms. They would sleep, and there were big, big rats over there, and rats would come and bite them at night. And there was no running water there. Somehow they were surviving over there. And Tamal Krish Maharaj once said, we went to Prabhupada and complained of these conditions. And Prabhupada just looked at them and said, don't you want to get purified? And they said they just relented. They just couldn't say anything. And even after that, and they were still going every morning, preaching, taking out Sankirtan, coming back at night to such conditions where they were somehow surviving. And once, one day, it's an amazing story. It just looks like a plot out of some Bollywood movie. Municipality people came and they started breaking the walls of the temple, whatever little bit they had. And the devotees, they were resisting, and devotees were put in by police in the van to be taken to jail. And they were really pulling Mataji devotees by their hair and throwing them in the vans, and they were breaking the temple rooms. And they were on the roof of the room above Radharas Bihari. And one local devotee, don't know who it was, he ran, he saw everything, and he ran and he called. We might call him not a good person, but he called Bal Thackeray. And Bal Thackeray came to know, and Bal Thackeray called the municipality commissioner. And this is exact words, it's in one of the books, it has been written. Bal Thackeray told him, in Mumbai, you're going to break a Hindu temple in Mumbai? You know who Mumbai belongs to? It belongs to me. And municipality commissioner said, well, I wasn't aware of what was going on. Somehow these guys went on their own because they were bribed. So the municipality people were on top of the roof of They were breaking it down, and municipality commissioner came or he called, and everything was stopped. And the idea behind all this was this all was happening on Friday. Why Friday? So that if everything is broken down, the opposite party was going to take a stay order on Monday. That see, whatever stay order means, whatever remains, whatever it remains as it is. Nobody changes it till the court decides. So their idea was, if there is no room left, there are these white people going to live. But again, Krishna had his plan because Prabhupada was there. Prabhupada wasn't there at the premises, but he was here on the earth. So he called around, and then there was this Mr. Sethi, Mr. P.L. Sethi. He was a contractor, and somehow Prabhupada liked him very much, although he wasn't chanting. He also served Prabhupada. So he was contacted. So he was told, you have only 2 days to build the temple back, bring it in the same condition, so that Monday we take the stay order. He said, okay, we'll get it. He was the contractor. So he brought people, labor, and everybody from all his work sites. 2 days we're gonna finish it. It really sounds like a movie plot. Because this Mr. P.L. Sethi, being a Punjabi guy in Mumbai, so he was building, and day and night, 2 days, 2 nights, no sleeping, everybody was working to put it back together. And it was said that Sunday, about 120 gundas came. And they were there, they said, now no more police, all these gundas. And the leader came to Mr. Sethi, he said, you stay away from this project and we're just gonna break everything again and kill everybody. And Mr. Sethi said, well, you are 120 and I and my son are here and all the laborers are here. But we have 2 guns and we have 120 bullets. Let's see how many of you are gonna come and how many are gonna survive. And you won't believe they ran away. All the gundas ran away. Nobody came. So, and similarly, Mayapur also, yeah, many issues. But the point is, when somebody takes this kind of risk, and also for Mr. Sethi, after temple was built, and then Prabhupada asked him to build rooms for devotees. And Prabhupada, although Sethi ji was not chanting, not initiated, but once he met Prabhupada again, and Prabhupada said, and these are Prabhupada's words, Prabhupada said, you are making room for my devotees, so my disciples. Krishna is making room for you in Golok Temple. If Prabhupada said that, definitely it's true. So, the point is, there could be many difficult situations in carrying out our devotion service, but these are all tests. And more difficult a situation is, more surrendered we are, more properly we handle the situation and still carry on with our services. That's what Krishna wants to see, how dedicated this devotee is. And this is what Prabhupada said. And how Prabhupada lived in America when he came here, that's another story. I think we should, after this book, we should, maybe whenever, we should read Prabhupada Lilamrita. Then we'll really appreciate what Prabhupada went through, just to establish this movement and to make it grow. What Prabhupada went through, it's amazing. So more hardships we take for the service of Krishna, more he is grateful, and definitely he bestows his mercy on us. I guess we can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Prabhuji, Anjali here.
Hare Krishna.
Looks like there is still a lot of stratification within ISKCON about where you stand in your spiritual journey. Is there any discrimination based on where you are, and do people kind of try and pull you down or pull you up based
See,
on the...
everybody is not an Uttam Adhikari. And out of many
Yes.
of those, hardly one becomes. It's okay, so we are on neophyte level, beginner stage. So beginner stage, they don't know how to behave with devotees. That's their stage. What can we do? So we have to make sure that we grow. This is our...
Yes.
So everybody is struggling and everybody is trying to grow at their own pace. Okay. That's it.
Good. So they help you grow in the organization, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But to whatever understanding they have and with whatever consciousness they can have.
That is good to know.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we can
Thank
stop
you.
here.
Thank you.
Have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna.
Hare-
Jai Shri Ram.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Ram.